In today's lesson, we're going to be talking about friends. I know that might seem a little bit odd given that most of my content is about dealing with getting a girlfriend, getting hookups, getting a relationship, building a relationship. You've got some cider that is, I will accept that. Cheers to you, American brother. And so you're probably wondering to yourself, Jack, why in the world are you going to be talking about friends? Well, there are a few important things that we need to go through about friends. The first one is why men and women can't be friends. The second one is how to actually find and make good friends. And third, last but not least, how to completely avoid the dreaded friend zone. Everybody's been in that situation before, and we all know it sucks. It's the worst. But with the advice I'm going to give you today, you'll never have that problem again. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Now, Papa Jack, you may be thinking, men and women can be friends. You're just an old man and you don't understand. I have female friends. Yeah, but do you? Do you? I think it was the movie When Harry Met Sally, where they were talking about men and women being friends. And one of the things that they said was men and women can't be friends because no matter what, in the back of his mind, the guy always wants to fuck the girl. That part is true to an extent. I mean, you could be, I guess, friends with some fat chick or with an ugly chick or like with your friend's younger sister or something like that. But even then, like, that's not really friends, is it? But the part of that equation that they didn't touch on in that film for obvious reasons, for politically correct reasons, is the fact that women aren't good friends, especially not for men. They don't really bring much to the table. So whenever you're thinking about a girl who you're like, oh no, we're just friends. Okay, cool. What does she bring to the table for you? Is she an equal peer to you? Does she give you good advice? Is she a great person to discuss business and the goings on of the day with? Probably not. In fact, if I'm being entirely honest, whenever you take sex out of the equation entirely, there's not a whole lot of reason to talk to most women. Now, of course, there are going to be some exceptions, right? And whenever I say something like this, whenever I'm talking in broad generalizations, you should always in your mind be playing but not 100%, of course, right? Of course. But for most of you guys out there, and I know that for most of my life as well, for the girls that I've known, even the girls that I've just been friends with, either they were not good friends or we were banging. It was one of the two. It was always one of the two. And the fact is that I think that a lot of guys, for politically correct reasons or for socialization reasons or something like that, maybe they've just been raised to be like, oh no, men and women are the same and you can be friends with girls and you don't have to try to fuck them. And it's like, okay, yeah, maybe. But actually, you can't really do that. You could try to. You can definitely try to. But why? Because they really don't bring very much to the table in terms of friendship. So in order to come to that conclusion, we need to discuss, what does it mean? What does it even mean to be a friend? And in my estimation, a friend can be lots of different things for lots of different people. And you can have different friends who serve in different roles to you. That's fine. But if you want somebody who's a good companion, who can do things with you, and you just want someone to spend time with, get a dog. They're way better, and they're not as annoying. They don't talk about stuff. They don't whinge and moan to you. And if you're just looking for a friend that you can talk to about your problems, and they'll say, oh yeah, oh, I understand. That's a really good excuse to have a female friend, right? Because they'll just listen to you as a sounding board, and they'll tell you, yeah, you know what? I think you're doing the right thing. That's exactly right. Or get a dog. Because you can do the same thing to your dog that you could to a female friend in that regard. You can talk to the dog and say, you know what, Simba, today I'm having a really rough day. Today I was dealing with this shit. Can you believe this stuff, man? And it's so annoying, and tax season's coming up, and I'm going to have to deal with this shit. I don't want to, but I know that I have to. And he's just going to sit there and nod his head and then lick your face. And I mean, the female friend won't even do that. But if you think about the other reasons that you have guy friends, you have friends because they are peers. They're on equal footing with you. People don't normally become friends with somebody who's at a lower social station than them or hasn't figured out as much in life as them, unless there's some other sort of ancillary benefit. Like, oh, yeah, I'm going to help to get this guy up to speed in some things, but he's going to help me with some business things that I don't understand yet. Well, now you have a good working relationship because you're both giving something to one another. Neither of you is simply taking. And in most relationships with men and women, assuming again that it's friendship, there's no sex involved, right? Just friends. There are very, very few relationships where that is actually true, where men and women can be just friends and where they're both giving to each other in a real way. Now, the only possible exceptions to this might be if you make friends with a woman who is genuinely off your sexual radar entirely. Like but even then it's not really friends, right? I was going to say, like, I can be friendly with older ladies, with fat chicks, with ugly chicks, with married chicks, something like that. But that's not really a friend, is it? Right? Because like if you're going through a bad breakup, you're not going to call up the old lady from the restaurant, right? You're not going to call her. I was like, she's not a friend. You can be friendly. That's different, though. That's different than being friends. And the reality is that most women don't bring anything to the table worthwhile other than sex, really. If you're talking about a casual relationship type of situation, like a friend is, they don't bring much. Now, that's one of the reasons. That's the second reason that men and women can't be friends, right? The first is that the guy's always trying to bang her. And then the second is that she doesn't really bring much to the table in terms of friendship, in terms of being a peer, in terms of being really an important part of your life, somebody who can understand you, commiserate with you, who can go out with you on the town, and you know that she can keep a secret because she would never break bro code. Well, what? But she's a girl. Of course she would, right? Of course she would, because girls don't follow bro code. Now, let's get on to the second point, because I'm afraid we're going to run out of time before we get to the part that a lot of you guys are probably interested in hearing, which is avoiding the friend zone. But the second point is perhaps even more important than the third. And that's how to actually find and make genuinely good friends. And the reality is that in order to make some good friends, you need to bring something to the table. Now, I've talked to you guys before in some of my previous videos about how you need to bring something to the table in terms of a relationship. And that is true. You do need to. But the same is true for friendships. You need to bring something to the table. But it's different than in a relationship, right? Because I'm not talking about bringing money to the table, although I suppose that could work. If you're just like the guy who buys everyone's drinks every time and they let you hang around, okay, I guess. But that's not really friendship, is it? I'm talking about something where you are on the same wavelength with somebody else, where you're doing things in your life and they're doing similar things, where you have interests that you're genuinely interested in. I'm not talking about being interested in World of Warcraft or something. I'm talking about things that you can get into like really deep discussions on. I guess that you could have video games in there, but why? right? That should not be your main point where you guys are connected. You should be doing similar things, have similar ideas, have similar goals, be there to help each other, to support each other, to share ideas, to go back and forth, to use them as a sounding board and say, okay, I'm starting to sell some widgets and I'm curious if you could look through this thing and give me some honest feedback. You ask a girl that, she's going to be like, yeah, looks great. It's fantastic. It's perfect. I'd never buy it. I mean, but I'll tell you that I'd buy it. And I'm not going to give you any feedback whatsoever. You ask a guy friend and he's going to be like, dude, you have a solid idea, but your shit's whack, right? You fucked this thing up. This thing looks ugly as hell. Why is this way? What's going on here? What even is this? I wouldn't know how to use this. A guy's going to give you actual good advice. This is how you make friends, is because you're able to provide things like that. And in return, you can ask for things like that. A friendship is very much a two-way street, and you should both be. This is why you should be on fairly equal footing, whether that means socially or intellectually or financially or wherever your basis of friendship lies. You should be on relatively equal footing, because if one of you isn't, then it's going to become a one-way street, because you don't, if that's you, if you're the guy who's not up to snuff, then all you're doing is extracting value from the other guy, right? All you're doing is getting things from him, taking things from him, getting his advice, getting his opinions, but you have nothing to offer yourself because he's already beyond you in whatever it is that he's doing. That's more of a mentor-mentee relationship. That's not friends. That's a teacher-student. That's not friends. Now, you can be friendly, but that's not friends. So in Asia, they usually use the word friend to literally mean someone who's the exact same age as you. Not 1 year older, not 1 year younger, but the exact same age. And that's what they use whenever they say the word friend. That's what they're talking about, is someone who is the same age, or at the very least, in the same station. So maybe they both work on the same team in a company. And if there's a year or two difference between them, then maybe it's a little bit awkward at first, but they can get over it because they're in the same station. They have some solid footing on which they're building this relationship where they can both help one another. And it's not just one person taking and one person giving. And so what you need to be doing if you're trying to find new friends, or maybe you feel like, yeah, I have some buddies, like I have some drinking buddies, some people I'm friendly with, but no real friends, nobody who I could like really call on in an emergency. If I end up in the hospital, who do I know is going to be there to make sure that everything's done, everything's taken care of, the bills are paid because he knows that I'm good for it, or whatever else it is, right? And to find those guys, you need to figure out what it is that you have to offer. And it could even be something as simple as you have a great sense of humor, or you have a good charisma, and you can bring people into your world. If you're a great storyteller and you're a lot of fun to be around, then you'll get invited to things. People will want to do things with you because you actually are bringing something. It doesn't have to be physical. It doesn't have to be knowledge. It doesn't have to be financial. You're bringing something to the table in the fact that whenever he invites you to a party, people are like, oh, that's a really cool guy. Wow, I didn't know you were friends with such a really cool guy. So you're bringing something to him, and that's some sort of social credit. That's just as important as all these other things. But you need to find somebody who can either commiserate with you commiserate or cooperate, depending on what your situation is, on your strengths, or even on your weaknesses. Something where they aren't very good at something, but you are, but they're really good at something that you're not. Great. Then we have a cross trade. We have a mutually beneficial relationship here, where even if we're teaching each other things, that still works because you're still both giving. And so figure out the things that you're good at. Figure out what you actually do bring to the table. What do you have on offer? What do you have on offer? And it's a serious question. So here's an example that goes exactly to this point. About oh, geez, it's almost 2 years ago at this point. My friend Rich, who, if you guys haven't seen my videos with him yet, you're going to meet him later tonight because he's joining us for the Q&A section of the call. My friend Rich came to Korea. He wasn't a friend at the time, though. I didn't know him. I had never met this guy before in my life. But then we met because he needed coaching to speed up his game in Korea. He wanted to start getting really good really fast with Korean women. I said, no problem, man. I got you. Absolutely. We already have a weekend set. No sweat. And then I found out what he does. And he runs online video courses. I thought, well, hell, I would like to run an online video course, but I don't know the first thing about how to do that. How do you even start doing it? Where do you set it up? How much does it cost? Is it expensive? Does it take a lot of time? What do you have to do with all this? And so I thought to myself, you know what, Rich, how about I coach you for free? And this will be ongoing coaching, right? I'll work with you. We'll still do the full weekend, the coaching weekend, but then I'll still give you ongoing coaching. And you help me set up a video course online. Great. So we started it off as a business arrangement. It's a business arrangement, but then because we're on the same wavelength and we're on generally equal footing, oh, now we're friends. Now we're actually friends, even though we weren't before. But if he had just come to me and I coached him and it was just a mentor-mentee relationship, we could still be friendly and we might even maybe find a way to become friends, but it wouldn't have been through that mentor-mentee relationship. That's not how friendships are built. It's not built on one person giving and another person receiving and learning. It has to be two ways. And even still to this day, Rich helps me on a ton of stuff, and I help Rich on a ton of stuff too, as I'm sure he's going to say whenever he gets on in a little bit. But before I run out of time, I do want to move on to the third part of our discussion about friends, and that is how to avoid the friend zone. Oh my God, you guys, I keep getting questions again and again, and I keep answering them, but you guys keep letting yourself get put in the friend zone. Here's how you avoid the friend zone. I'm going to give you the definitive answer right now. Right now. You will never get put in the friend zone again if you do this one thing. Don't let yourself get put in the friend zone. The second that you feel it starting to happen, say, wait. Hold on. I'm getting a weird feeling here, and it feels like you think that we're just friends. And that's not how I view this relationship. So if you want to be just friends, then that's cool. But like, I already have friends. I'm not interested. I'm interested in more than friends. I see you as a woman and a man, and I see our relationship that way, not as friends. So if you're not cool with that, then, I understand, no hard feelings. But if you are, great. In fact, what are you doing right now? Let's go grab a drink. Come on. As man and woman, not as friends. Just be that assertive. Just say that. Now, I know that some of you out there are probably saying, well, Papa Jack, I hear you saying that, but when you're there, when you're in the situation, you can't really just say that, right? Wrong. You absolutely can. You absolutely can. Just the same way that if you were talking to somebody and they were like, oh, hey, what are you doing on Friday? I want to go to a KKK rally, and I'd like for you to come with me, right? And you'd stop right there and be like, hold on a minute, hold on. That's not what this is. I hope that you're joking. I hope that we're all just having a good laugh here, but no. Right. And so you should be just as assertive about anything that you want, about anything that you feel is right. The same way that if you were chatting with a buddy and then he was like, hey, man, I appreciate you inviting me over to your place. By the way, have I ever told you your mom is just banging hot? You wouldn't mind if I dated her, would you? What? No. Hold on. Stop. That is not what this is. That's not where we're going with this. No. And you would be just as assertive with that. So you have to be with things that are important to you. And the fact is that if you let her put you in the friend zone, she's not that important to you, is she? So ask yourself a serious question. Do you want to be put in the friend zone? Is she important to you? Do you like her? Do you want to maybe give it a shot? Try to date her? Maybe even just try to bang her. Doesn't matter. Still, you never let yourself get put in the friend zone. From day one. From day one. Once you feel that thing start coming on, stop it in its tracks right there. Say, wait. I think that we're getting the wrong idea here. You seem to think that we're just friends. If she says something like, oh, maybe you could introduce me to one of your friends, or you know a guy, like I'm looking for someone, but I just haven't found the right person. You might even be tempted to like go half-hearted with this and kind of laughingly say, oh, well, I'm right here. And crickets, right? Because you're not sincerely going into it. You're not stopping it. You're letting it happen and you're laughing about it. So of course she's going to keep on steamrolling over you. Of course she is. So you have to stop it in its tracks once you feel it coming on, once you hear something like that that's coming on. But if you want to make sure that you never even have to have that conversation, you need to be sexualizing your conversations and your interactions with these girls from very early on. And no, I don't mean going up to them and being like, hi, I'm Jack. You have just a fucking lovely set of titties. Has anyone ever told you that? Nice. I bet you got areolas like fried eggs in there. Oh, no. No, don't be a fucking weirdo. Don't be a crazy person. But your basic demeanor, the way that you talk, the way that you act, the way that you touch her, the things that you say, the vibe you give off, all of that should be exuding this sexual, this masculine energy. It shouldn't be timid. It shouldn't be someone who can just get run over and get put in the friend zone. It shouldn't be, maybe I may be interested, but I don't want to say so. It shouldn't be any of that. It shouldn't be. It should be fairly direct. It doesn't have to be you, me, a bottle of wine. Save tonight. Right? It doesn't have to be that. It can be. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't have that personality type, that's fine. Still, though, you cannot be timid. You cannot be feminine. You cannot be somebody who can just get walked all over. Because if you are, if you act that way, if you say those things, if you just laugh off her jokes, guess where you're going? Friend zone. And it sucks. Now, that personality type, that thing, that exuding masculine energy, exuding sexual energy, that's going to turn some people off. Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. So is everything in the world. Anything in the world that you do is going to turn some people off. I got tired of having to fucking deal with my hair, so I shaved my hair off. You know what? Some people like it more, some people like it less. Huh, who cares? Who fucking cares? I'm serious. Who fucking cares? Yeah, some people are going to like what you do, what you say. Some people aren't. Okay, great. Filter them out. Filter in the ones who do like you, who do like your style, who do like your energy, and who do find you attractive, and who don't put you in the friend zone. So as long as you have the right mindset from the beginning, and as long as you know how to stop it in its tracks, whenever you can see that thing coming on, whenever you can hear it, feel it coming on, you'll never end up in the friend zone again. I guarantee it.